10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And we are live. Hi, Chaplain. How are you?
I am doing incredibly well, thank the Lord. How are you doing today, Reverend?
I'm doing so well, thank you, Chaplain. It's always so wonderful to spend time with you, and I had quite a few moments to sit and think this afternoon about our previous session. We really talked about you being in the Navy and the lessons that you've learned. My goodness, what a wonderful and wholesome session that was! It was simply amazing.
Yes, it is. The memories are wonderful. The memories are encouraging. And since I've been coached by you, I have felt as though my life, my calling, and my journey is having an impact on people. I'm hearing from people. I'm hearing from many of the AMA group that's in the members of AMA, and which means the Authors Millionaire Academy. And I say to myself, where have I been all of my life? I must have been hanging somewhere that I needed to recognize I needed to hang someplace else.
Well, we've picked you up and we've moved you to a different, let's say, branch. So I'm so happy to hear that you are happy and that this is working for you. You are just a phenomenal person. I love spending time with you and working with you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Thank you. I
Now,
appreciate
Chaplain,
you also very,
thank you.
very much. You're a
Thank
phenomenal
you.
woman of God. So happy to know that you are also ordained. It's not very often, that we are matched with
Yeah,
people who are on the same road to Calvary, same
yeah,
road to heaven, same road to the cross,
yeah,
same blood under the same blood-stained banner
yeah.
that we are, and happy about it.
Yes. I love that. I love that, Chaplain. You have a wonderful way with words, and your heart shines through in everything that you do. And I would love to let the audience hear this evening about your time in the Navy and the friendships that you formed. We can't wait to hear about that topic.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak on a subject that I don't think I've ever spoken. I think this is the first time in terms of the friendships that I formed, and quite honestly, early on, I showed you yesterday
Yeah.
the photo of my of the group that we went through
Yes.
boot camp together there in Newport, Rhode Island, at the
Yeah.
Atlantic Ocean. we had
Woohoo!
we cried many a tear, and we had many a laugh. Uh, Through the years, I have kept up with about four of these individuals, and our paths, after we graduated, our paths didn't cross anymore. So I have kept up with one as early as last year, Harold Palmer, and who is living in Texas and with his family, and he and I will chat every now and then, not very often, but it is a rich friendship. It is an old, long-standing friendship,
Yeah.
and sometimes those are pretty hard to come by uh,
Mm-hmm.
in the military, because we're just so busy trying to answer God's call in a war industry, that
Yeah.
it creates, just being in the war industry creates
Yeah.
its own challenges, and the kinds of prayers that I know now would have helped me if I had known about them then. But prayers still help, even though many of my prayers were in ignorance, in
Mhm.
terms of calling on the blood of Jesus.
Yeah.
It's still, I still survived. Barely, but
Mhm.
that's okay. I don't mind the barely either.
Yeah.
um, so there's Harold that I've kept in touch with through the years. There are sailors that I am still in touch with. As a matter of fact, once a year we get together with Skipper, another name for commanding officer, Skipper Taseo, and the unit, the NSA Naples, Italy unit,
Oh,
gathers in
wow.
Chicago every year. Every year.
Awesome.
Many of them have purchased my book, Healing My Soul on Purpose, A
Wow.
Veteran's Guide to Suicide Intervention, which is very special to me. Of course, I'm in touch with senior chief. I can see her face. Come on, name. And Chief Annie, senior chief. It will come. It will come.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
actually, last year when we were at the reunion, one of the other people used, wasn't a bad word to me. And so I repeated what she said with a question mark. Do you really feel da 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 da? And senior chief said, "Oh no, chat." I said, what are you talking about? You're not allowed to curse."
What? What was the word? Now
uh,
I'm curious, and the audience is curious.
the word was shit. I think that was the word. Oh no, we can't have our chaplain cursing. No, 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 no.
Oh my gosh.
And I
Oh my
said,
God.
but senior chief, Kim, that's her name, senior chief Kim.
Yeah.
I said, senior chief, you know we're sailors, and you know what people say about sailors. They say, I'm going to cuss like a sailor, right? She said, but you can't do it. You're representing God to us, and I will not have it. I said, okay, okay.
Oh,
So
yeah.
from that moment until last week, when you and I were when I was having a, I was having another moment. And I can hear myself cursing, and then, oh no, I promised God, I promised senior chief that I would stop it. And but it really shows that even when you're working on a weakness, or
Yes.
that as soon as our adversary, as soon as the accuser, as soon as the destroyer can just slip in there, just for a second.
Yeah. Just a little bit. Just get
Yeah,
that foot in the door.
exactly, exactly. So I repented from that, and I apologized to you, and I apologized to God, and I apologized to myself. So we're back on track. But
Oh,
those
I
are
love
some of
it,
my
Chef.
those are some of my memorable moments when we gather together just outside of Chicago, about 30 miles outside of Chicago, in one of the let's see, in one of the sailors. Oh, I don't remember his rank, but we gather at his home, and we have a cookout. I usually bring
Wow.
water and ribs.
Yeah.
This year I'm going to bring water and chicken.
Oh, yay! It's gonna be lovely.
Barbecue chicken. uh
Wow.
yeah, I try to switch it up because somebody else does the salads, and like chicken salad and pasta salad, and
Yeah.
oh, we
Ooh.
have all kinds and of course every brand of alcohol anyone could want. No, 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 chap. You can have wine and nothing else. You can't have any beer and you can't have any hard stuff. Okay, I ain't
You
mad
can
at
have you.
and I appreciate you know sometimes people have sometimes people have a concept of
Yes.
what a minister should and should not do, what a minister should and should not be, how a minister should and should not act. Well, you know, we can go to the extremes. I certainly don't want anyone to put me on a pedestal, but
Yeah.
if someone is offended by my language or by
Mm.
my or by what I'm drinking, I have
Yeah.
no problem at all.
Yeah.
None putting it
Yeah.
down. Because you
Yeah.
know the bottom line is drawing men and women and boys and
Yes.
girls to
Yeah.
to Jesus Christ. That's always the bottom line. And I'm still
Mm.
see the thing about it is I'm still having fun.
Of
And my
course.
body is and my body is getting cleaner. You know,
Yes.
when I drink a soda, I try to drink something like either ginger ale or
Mhm.
Sprite. Uh,
Yes.
uh, Even though my favorite is Pepsi, I'm not
Oh.
endorsing it. And I don't want anybody out there saying that the chaplain endorses Pepsi. But I like Pepsi, and about once a year, max twice a year, I'll just have me a cold. I put it in the freezer. Did that the other day. But
Lovely.
these are the friends that have stayed.
Yeah.
I get a birthday card from them on my birthday. I'll get one of them gave me a um, desktop computer. And this is before COVID.
Yeah.
And this was from the chief. And the chief said, called me one day. And usually when we talk a couple of hours, you know, catching up, what's going on.
Yeah.
And while we were talking, she said, "You know what, Chaplain? I would like to give you something for your ministry.
Oh, wow.
What can I do?" I said,
Yeah.
"Well, I need a computer." She said,
Yeah.
"Watch your mail." And it arrived about a week later, and all set up, you know, with all of the programs.
Ye-
And
Oh,
oh,
wow.
it's amazing. It is
What a
amazing.
bliss.
It is.
Wow.
And whenever I go, I don't want to say that they give me special treatment
Yeah.
in one way, but in another way, they still look out for me.
Mm.
You know, as though we
Yeah.
were on active duty.
Yeah.
Especially Chief Annie.
Yeah.
I married her and her husband what about 10 years ago. He has since I think that was 2010. He has since died, and she has remarried, and I've had the opportunity of meeting him and having conversation with him, and they are doing well. You know, you really I don't think you ever really get over your the love of your life. You know, no matter how many times you marry,
Yeah.
the one that you really, really, really loved. I don't know that we ever get over that person.
The
So
hot ones, but the hot ones, Chaplain. You know that.
yes, and I've had an opportunity to pray with uh,
Mm.
my sailors and to counsel my sailor as if I am still on active duty. And
Yeah.
that to me is priceless that they continue to trust me in conversation. And when I go up, I usually stay in the home. And I tried to stay at a hotel. Oh, they fuss. Oh no, we cannot have our chaplain in a hotel. Well, I don't want to
Yeah.
impose on someone. No, it's not an imposition.
Oh,
we've already made the arrangements. You have your own bedroom, you have your own bathroom, and you can sleep as late as you want. And so we're going to say goodbye now in case you don't get up in the morning. So it's really it's fun. I look forward to it. It's usually in August, and
oh,
it's and they are helping with the ministry with Space for Grace, and we'll
yeah,
talk about that when we're talking about Space for Grace.
yeah.
But these are the friendships that have lasted. Let's see, I retired in 2009. And even now it is as if I have not retired, and we are in contact, and primarily, and I would say, since that was the last deployment, that is probably pretty standard procedure. I know when our skipper retired, I got an invitation to come up to the retirement, and I was asked to wear my uniform. And I tell you, what a time, what a time, what a time. The after party was at the skipper's house.
Aha.
I tell you, them folks, don't let anybody tell you that sailors don't know how to party. White, black, and sky blue, green. We know how to partay. Oh my God! And the food, all the food was, it was everywhere. We had roast lamb, and we had roast beef, and we had roast chicken, and we had fish, and oh
Lovely.
yes,
Just
it
a
was wonderful.
treat.
And
Oh,
that's when we decided that we would meet every year. Every year.
mm,
As a matter of fact, Captain Teseo, or our skipper, he wrote a testimonial in my book. And it really
yeah.
is breath giving. I'm going to say breath giving. And if it's okay,
Ooh,
I'd like to read it
brilliant.
if it's okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
please, of course, Chap. Yeah, please, I'd love to hear
And
it.
thank you for calling me Chap or Chappie. That is so nice of you. Uh,
I love calling you Chappy because you are such a light-hearted, lovely person. I just want to give you a hug. I have to see you again this year.
yes, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So this is what he writes. Lieutenant Commander Pamela June Banks Anderson served the NSA Naples IT, which stands for Italy, unit, as
Yeah.
chaplain under my leadership for several years. Her love and commitment to our unit was a dance of mutual exchange. I awarded her the Navy and Marine Corps Commendation Ribbon during Chaplain Anderson's retirement ceremony.
Wow.
Chief Annie Cradell Outlaw gifted Chaplain Anderson with her shadow box, displaying her 12 ribbons and several commemorative coins. Her contributions to the NSA Naples, Italy unit are memorable. She performed her numerous duties with integrity and enthusiasm and encouraged the unit to participate in worship. She provided Holy Communion, christened infants, and officiated at military weddings. Chaplain Anderson accomplished the difficult task of folding and presenting the American flag to families
Mm.
of fallen soldiers on behalf of the President of the United States, and provided grief counseling. She joins us at our annual reunion and continues admirably in her self proclaimed role as the Veterans Chaplain in
Love
a
that.
faith based organization. Undoubtedly, Healing My Soul on Purpose, a veteran's guide to suicide intervention, is her most exemplary contribution to reducing the number of suicides among veterans,
Yeah.
gifting the readership with paths to wholeness, purposeful living, and a sense of belonging, and offering practical guidelines for faith based leaders to use and engage the veteran among us. Vincent
Beautiful.
L. Teseo, Captain, retired. United States Navy, NSA, Naples, Italy. That
How
name,
beautiful.
oh my goodness. So when you're talking about forging friendships,
Yeah.
this is the result of
Mm.
forging and maintaining
Yeah.
friendships. Now, I will
Wow.
confess, I was not the best of chaplains when Skipper came on board, because I was saying to myself, I have been through more with some of these commanding officers than I
Yeah.
really care to talk about. So when I met the same day I met him, I said, "Okay, so what's going to be your deal?" Very disrespectful. And he looked up and he said, "Well, very soft spoken, uh,
Yeah.
is not a man to lose his temper." And very gently he said, "Well, chaplain, because we wear the cross." He
Yeah.
said,
Oh,
"Well,
okay.
chaplain, my intent is to be a good skipper." And
Wow.
of course, I felt so bad. I just melted. I said, "Well, skipper, I apologize for barking at you, but I wanted to get mine in first."
Oh my goodness. Lessons learned. Lessons learned, Chaplain.
Yes,
Oh
yes.
my
And
goodness.
he is probably I had four amazing commanding officers, and he would definitely be in the top four.
That's
Absolutely.
wonderful.
Now I could
That's
have maintained a relationship with another commanding officer, but I lost his card
yeah.
somewhere along the way.
Yeah.
Um, he was the commander of the entire NSA Sigonella base. Uh,
Wow.
and he did my last, he did my exiting review
Oh.
after we had gotten orders to come back home. And that was an interesting conversation.
Yeah.
I think I am safe to share uh, this this friendship that would have been a lasting had I kept his card. Uh,
Yeah.
that was one of my first uh, commanding officer in terms of the chaplain corps uh, that I ever experienced such cantankerousness. I think that's what I'll call it. He was just cantankerous, you know,
Okay.
uh, a
Wow.
Catholic chaplain, didn't believe in women in ministry,
Oh.
didn't believe in women in the military,
Mm.
especially as a chaplain. And I mean, he was on me every day about something, about nothing. He just had to have something to say to me. If I arrived, I think I shared that testimony before while I was giving my little speech down over at the boot camp.
Okay. Yeah. Let's hear
Remember
it.
that? And
Yeah.
and the day that we got orders to come home, the commander of the entire base left a message with the secretary for me to come to his office. So when she said, "Hey, chap, the commander of the base wants to see you," well, I thought that I thought that the chaplain in the chaplain corps had
Yeah.
thrown me under the bus. I couldn't think of any other reason that the commander of the entire base would want to
Wants to
see
see
me,
you. Oh, oh,
right?
oh.
I'm a lieutenant, which is an O2, or was
Yeah.
I? Yeah, I was a lieutenant, which was an O2, a lieutenant junior grade, no less, or maybe I was a lieutenant O3. I don't remember. But anyway, okay, so I'm praying all the way to his office, which was right across the way, maybe 1,000 feet. And
Mm.
I went up and knocked on his door and I said, "Sir, you called for me?" He says, "Yes, yes, yes. Come on in and have a seat." I've never seen a black woman. And I said to myself, "Oh God, here we go." I've never seen a black woman minister. He said, "Now tell me about how that happens." I said, "Well, I went to seminary and I went through the officers boot camp, uh,
Yeah.
and I was sworn in as a chaplain." He said, "Okay, so you went to seminary. What is seminary?" I said, "Well, seminary is the graduate level of
Yeah.
education. It would be like the School of Social Work, or law school,
Yeah.
or or the undergrad physician school, right? It's after undergrad, but
Yes.
but it's before postgrad."
Yeah.
I
Yes.
said, "Okay." Um, well, tell me, Chaplain, how was your time here? Um, and I said, "Oh, Captain, it was amazing. We were able to strengthen the witness and the visibility of the gospel choir. We went to the mainland, which would be Rome.
Yeah.
Which would be Italy, because Sigonella is on the boot,
Mm.
not the boot.
Yeah.
Is that right? Italy is the boot. Italy is a
Mm.
boot, and Sigonella is like the island just across the
Yeah.
Mediterranean, right? And we've been doing a lot of traveling and a lot of singing, and I've been doing a lot of speaking. I was able to go to Spain and to Germany uh,
Beautiful.
and to Crete, um, Suda Bay, Crete, and I've just had a wonderful time. He said, "Now, let me get this straight. To be a minister in the military,
Yeah.
you've got to be educated, you've got to be approved by the church, yada yada yada." I said, "That is correct, sir." He said, "Then why are you lying to me?" I said, "Excuse me?" I said, what do you mean? What do you mean?"
Yeah.
And these are his words exactly. I can still remember them.
Yeah.
"We know that son of a bitch you've been trying to work with. And you haven't told me how your experience was." I said, "Well, Captain, you didn't ask me about my experience with him. You asked me about my experiences with the sailors." He said, "Good answer." And he said, "I'm going to give you my card. I'm on my way to the Pentagon.
Oh,
And if you ever need anything, just
yeah.
call me, because
Wow.
you have been stellar, absolutely
Beautiful.
a marvelous representation to the
Yeah.
United States Navy Chaplain Corps." Well,
Wow.
after I picked myself up off the floor, I said, "Permission
Oh,
to leave, sir?" He said, "Permission granted." And I stood up and I saluted, and he
yeah.
saluted back. So that is another example of a friendship that could have been forged. But
Mm.
it clearly was not meant to be.
Mm.
And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I had the opportunity, I lost the opportunity, and things have still worked out as best they could have under all of the circumstances. And all of the glory goes to God. All of the glory goes to God, because I could have not done.
Yes.
Let me tell you,
Amen.
without the Lord, ain't no way I could have survived that particular deployment.
I
Oh,
hear
I can laugh now, but it sure won't funny.
With Enid, it's a different story. When we look back, we
Oh
laugh, but
yes.
when you're in it, I mean,
Oh yes. Oh yes. I mean,
yeah, the roller
I'm
coaster.
certain. I am certain that that what I have
Mm,
been diagnosed with is
yeah,
in direct is directly related to that.
the
Is
result.
directly
Yeah,
related to that particular those 9 months.
yeah,
Um, but even some of the because that's not where I met Senior Chief Kim or Chief Annie. That I was there. I was at NSA Sigonella with a group out of North Michigan. I was drilling just outside of Chicago, about 30, 40 miles up. And that was a much younger group. And so I didn't forge any friendships out of that group. Um, all the guys tried. I had to tell one guy, you know, I'm your senior officer. Well, yes, ma'am, but I'm still attracted to you. I said, you know, you can't say things like that to your senior officer. Well,
yeah.
yes, ma'am, but I just want you to know, and I want you to know that you are out of order. I said it with a
With the,
smile. I said it with a smile that you're out of order. And I
yeah,
really don't want to write you up, but I will.
yeah,
He
yeah,
said, oh, yes, ma'am. And he backed off. Oh, but it took him a long time. I saw him struggling. He really wanted this chaplain.
yeah.
But and now when I think, and he was a Marine. And when I think about that, I mean, one day out of nowhere, he just grabs me and kissed me. I said, "Whoa, wait a minute, honey, you can't do stuff like that." He said,
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
"Bless his heart." We had fun, uh,
Yeah.
and we had some tough times too. uh,
Yes.
because we couldn't get home, and some of
Mm,
the sailors spouses left them while we were overseas, and one literally had a nervous breakdown. I can still see her
no.
um, walking. She's in her uniform, walking around the campus, basically talking to herself, and
Mm,
we were able to get her to but they still wouldn't allow her to go home. So we were able to get her connected with the psychiatrist on the campus, and
yeah. Mm,
she was able to get some help. And
mm,
and you know, there was not another black chaplain there. You know,
mm,
I was it. So
yeah.
all of my conversation was between the Lord and I. But there
Mm,
were two women. Now let me back this up a minute.
yeah.
There were two women. The one woman that I told you about escorting me to America
Yeah.
for my dear friend. Okay, now I am in I know how to get in touch with her, and she knows
Yeah.
how to get in touch with me.
Yeah.
Um, and I see her on Facebook from time to time. And she got an endorsement for one of my other books from her bishop. Oh my God, that was in 2000. But the point that I'm making is, even though we are not in touch with one another often,
Yeah.
we know how to get in touch with one another. And the other lady, that when we because the three of us would uh hang out together. What do I mean by that?
Yeah.
One would the two of them would switch off cooking dinner. Uh
Oh,
and we would have dinner on the island, and
beautiful.
one of them had an automobile, and she took me to the tip of Sicily, where at
Mm,
night you could see the lights in North Africa.
Oh, I
Yes,
love that.
yes,
Wow.
it was fabulous. And then one of the guys took me over to and if, took me over to a place where Paul walked. He showed me where
Mm,
it wasn't anywhere near Damascus, but I remember him saying, "Now this is where the Apostle Paul would travel from time to time." And then
oh my.
and then they would show me other cities. You know, it was an
Yeah.
amazing. You know, for the exception, and I shouldn't say for the exception of the commander. He just was miserable and trying to make me as miserable as he was. And as
Exactly.
I look back, even that
Yeah.
turned out to be good for me
Yeah.
because it
Yes.
taught me, even
Yes.
though it
Shaped
taught
you.
me to keep my mouth shut, right? It did. Because I knew that if I had ever blown my top, that
Yeah.
my career in the Navy
Yes.
was
Yeah.
over. So I learned
Mm,
to keep my mouth shut. I
yeah.
learned to keep a straight face. Sometimes he would say, "What are you smiling about?" I said,
Yeah.
I would say, "Captain, I'm just happy. I'm happy with Jesus."
Always happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he would grunt.
You wouldn't like that. Yeah, you get
Because he
people like
never broke my, well, he didn't know, but my spirit
yeah.
was broken. There's no question about that. It's
Yeah.
like they always say, don't let them see the whites in your eyes. Mm-mm.
Mm,
And like that other
yeah.
commanding officer told me when I was 1 minute late, you don't cry in uniform. You just don't. So
Yeah.
I just, oh boy.
That's the truth. And these are the lessons that we learn, and it's wonderful to see that on your journey in the Navy. You made these wonderful. You had the best of encounters with amazing people, but then of course there's the other extreme, and through all of that, there are lessons to be learned. Some friendships are
Absolutely.
formed and they last forever. Some people
Yes.
don't want to be friends with you, and that's okay. You still love them and pray for them, and then you
Yes.
move on. So I want to
Absolutely.
thank you, Chaplain, for this lovely session. I mean, the time just flies so fast when you are telling your beautiful stories. I can't wait for us to hop on our next live
Yes.
when we'll be discussing another topic. So tune in, everyone. We're probably going to be talking about how the Navy impacted our dear Chaplain PJ Banks Anderson. And thank you, Chaplain, for sharing your life with us. There's someone in the audience that's hearing this evening that needed to hear how you handled that situation that's going to draw from your experience. We appreciate you and we love you.
And I love you too. Thank you. If the folks in the audience make a, let's see, how do they say it? Make lemonade out of your lemons. You'll enjoy
Yes.
it so much more.
Amen, sister. Amen, Chaplain. We'll see you soon. God
Me
bless.
too. Bye bye.
Thank you.